Chosen one, this is the sign you've been waiting for. God does not make mistakes. Your birth month is not an accident. The day, the hour, the very moment you entered this world was carefully orchestrated by the Creator Himself. From the foundations of the earth, God saw you. He chose you. He set you apart. Have you ever felt that there's something greater meant for you? That your life carries a deeper meaning beyond the everyday struggles and routines? That's because it does. Listen carefully. Your birth is not just a date. It is a divine blueprint woven into the fabric of time. Your strengths, your challenges, your purpose, they are not random. They are part of God's divine order. And today, you will discover what He has planned for you. Do not ignore this message. This is your moment of awakening. God tells us in Jeremiah 1 verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." You were never an accident. You were designed, created, and sent into this world with intention. Before you even took your first breath, God already had a mission assigned to you. But many people walk through life unaware of their true purpose. They search, they question, they doubt. They wonder why they were born at a certain time, in a certain season. Could it be that God placed them there for a reason? Today, that mystery will be revealed. Each birth month carries a sacred message from heaven. Every season holds a divine assignment. And when you understand the spiritual significance of your birth month, you will see that God has been guiding you all along. Have you ever asked yourself, why was I born in this specific month? What if the timing of your birth is not just a coincidence, but a divine sign? The answer is waiting, and it is powerful. Let's begin. January, the pioneer of purpose. From the very moment you entered this world, God placed within you the heart of a pathfinder. You were not born to follow the well-trodden path. You were born to forge new roads, break barriers, and lead others toward the light. There is a reason you have always felt different, why your soul longs for something greater. The calling on your life is not ordinary. You were set apart before time began. Life has never been easy for you, and that is no mistake. The weight you have carried, the struggles you have endured, were never meant to break you. They were designed to shape you. Many who are born in January experience hardship from an early age, feeling as if the road they walk is steeper than others. It is because God places His strongest warriors in places where they must learn endurance, where they must be refined through fire before they are sent forth to lead. You were not created to sit in the shadows, waiting for direction. You were made to rise, to stand firm in faith, to go where others fear to tread. The fire you have walked through was never meant to consume you. It was meant to strengthen you. God's word reminds you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. There is a reason these words stir something inside you. Deep within your spirit, you know you are meant for more. You have felt the pull towards something bigger than yourself, an inner drive that refuses to let you remain stagnant. That is not coincidence. It is a divine calling. You were chosen to be a leader, a guide, a builder of new beginnings. But leaders are not made in comfort. They are forged in trials, tested through challenges, and strengthened through resistance. You may have asked, why is my path so difficult? Why do I face obstacles that others do not? The answer is simple. Because your calling is greater. The road ahead of you was never meant to be easy, but it was meant to be victorious. Every challenge, every moment of hardship, every time you felt like giving up was shaping you for the purpose God has placed in your life. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. What others see as struggle, God sees as preparation. What others see as a setback, God sees as a lesson in endurance. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. God has assigned His most powerful warrior to stand beside you, Archangel Michael, the protector of those called to lead with courage. He is the guardian of those who walk by faith, who refuse to be silenced, who step forward when the world tries to hold them back. When fear whispers that you are not enough, when doubt tries to settle in your heart, know that you are covered by divine strength. You have been given the boldness to stand firm, to remain unwavering in faith, to press forward even when the path is unclear. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. But knowing your purpose is not enough. Many are called, but few answer. The question before you is not whether you have a divine mission. You do. The question is whether you will step into it. Will you allow fear to hold you back, or will you rise in faith? Will you listen to the voice that tells you to wait, or will you move forward with the confidence that God goes before you? You were created for something greater. You were born to build, to inspire, to pave the way for others. You were not placed here by chance. Your life is not an accident. This is your moment. Do not let fear keep you from what God has prepared for you. Do not shrink back when you were made to stand tall. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now is the time to embrace who you are, to take hold of your calling, and to step boldly into the purpose that has been written for you since the beginning of time. The world is waiting. Heaven is watching. And God is saying, go. February, the keeper of gentle power. There is something different about those born in February, a softness in the way they speak, a depth in the way they love, a quiet strength that others cannot fully understand. This is not by accident. God has placed within you a heart that feels deeply, a soul that absorbs the joys and sorrows of the world around you. You were born with a divine gift, the ability to see beyond the surface, to sense the pain that others hide, to bring healing through love. You are not just compassionate. You are called. Many go through life focused on themselves, blind to the struggles of those around them. But not you. Your heart was created to be a refuge, a safe place where others find comfort. When someone is hurting, you notice. When someone is lost, you reach out. You do not just sympathize. You feel. God has given you the ability to bear burdens that are not your own, to love in a way that reflects His perfect grace. But this calling is not always easy. To love deeply means to hurt deeply. To carry the pain of others means to sometimes feel overwhelmed. And yet, even in those moments, you do not turn away. You press forward, because that is who you are. The world will tell you that your tenderness is a weakness, that caring too much will only lead to disappointment. But the world does not understand the power of a heart that mirrors God's own love. The Lord is gracious and righteous. Our God is full of compassion. This is why you were placed here, to remind the world that kindness is not weakness, that mercy is not a burden, that love is the greatest force of all. But even those with the strongest hearts can grow weary. There will be times when the weight feels too heavy, when it seems like no one notices the love you pour out. There will be moments when your kindness is met with rejection, when you wonder if what you do truly matters. But God sees. He sees every quiet sacrifice, every tear shed in secret, every act of love that the world overlooks. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You are never alone in this calling. Watching over you is Archangel Gabriel, the messenger of God's wisdom, the protector of those who bring light through love. He stands beside you, reminding you that your compassion is not in vain, that every time you comfort the broken, you reflect the love of Christ. that every time you choose kindness over indifference, you fulfill your divine purpose. His presence is a sign that you were created to heal, to uplift, to guide others back to the peace that only God can provide. But even as you give, you must also learn to receive. Even Jesus, in his time on earth, withdrew to pray, to seek his Father's presence, to be restored. You must do the same. You were not meant to carry every burden alone. God calls you to lean on him, to rest in his presence, to trust that his love is more than enough to sustain you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Your heart is a gift, but it must be nurtured. You must remember that you are not just here to give love. You are also here to receive it. Your mission is clear. Be the light that reminds the world of God's love. In every kind word, in every act of mercy, in every moment you choose compassion over indifference, you are fulfilling your calling. And when you feel unnoticed, when your efforts seem unappreciated, remember this: God sees, God knows, and God is using you in ways beyond what you can imagine. You are not just a person of kindness. You are a guardian of compassion, a vessel of divine grace, a reminder that in a world full of pain, God's love still prevails. March, the keeper of unshakable faith. There is something different about those born in March. While others rely on what they can see and touch, your soul moves to a different rhythm. You do not need to have all the answers to believe in God's plan. You walk by faith, not by sight. This is not just a trait. It is a divine calling. Your heart is wired to trust when others doubt, to remain steadfast when the world shakes, to believe in miracles even in the face of impossibility. You are not just a person of faith. You are a beacon of unwavering trust in God's promises. Life has tested you more than once. You have faced seasons of waiting, moments of silence where it felt as though God had forgotten you. There were times when you cried out for an answer, and heaven seemed still. But somehow, deep in your soul, you always knew God was there. Even when circumstances told you otherwise, even when fear whispered lies, something inside you held firm. That is because your spirit carries the gift of endurance. God has shaped you to stand, to trust, to walk forward even when you cannot see the road ahead. For we live by faith, not by sight. But this calling does not come without hardship. Those who are meant to trust deeply must also be tested deeply. There will be seasons of uncertainty, times when the answers do not come quickly, when everything in you wants to give up. You may even question why your path seems filled with delays, why doors that should have opened remain closed. But do not mistake silence for abandonment. God is not withholding. He is preparing. He is refining you, strengthening your faith so that when the breakthrough comes, you will not just receive it. You will know it was His hand alone that made it happen. Be still and know that I am God. You are never alone in this journey. Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing and renewal, stands beside you, reminding you that faith is not just about belief, it is about restoration. His presence in your life is a sign that even in the waiting, God is working. Even in the delay, He is healing. Your faith is not just for you. It is a light for those who struggle to believe. When others are consumed by doubt, your presence brings peace. When they feel lost, your words remind them of the truth. God has not abandoned them. He never will. But even those with the strongest faith must guard their hearts. Because you are spiritually open, you absorb the emotions of those around you. You carry burdens that are not your own, feeling the weight of doubt and fear in those you love. You may not always realize it, but their struggles become your own, pressing on your soul like an unseen force. This is why you must remain anchored in prayer. Even Jesus withdrew to seek His Father's presence, to restore His strength before continuing His mission. you must do the same. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Your mission is clear. You were created to walk in faith, to stand firm when others falter, to remind the world that God's promises are still unfolding. Do not be discouraged by the waiting. Do not be shaken by the obstacles. Faith is not about knowing every step. It is about trusting the one who does. You were born to be a pillar of faith, a reflection of God's unwavering love, a living testimony that He is always at work. And when the storms of life try to shake you, remember this: you were made to endure. You were made to believe. And in God's perfect time, you will see that your faith was never in vain. April, the warrior of divine strength. There is a fire in those born in April that cannot be ignored. You were not placed in this world to stand in the background or remain silent when truth is at stake. There is a reason your soul burns with passion, why you feel an unshakable drive to fight for what is right. God has placed within you the heart of a warrior, a spirit that refuses to back down in the face of adversity. You were born with a mission: to stand firm, to lead with courage, and to be a force of righteousness in a world that often wavers. Your life has not been without struggle, and that is no coincidence. Warriors are not formed in comfort. They are refined through trials. Every battle you have faced, every hardship that has tested your faith, has been part of God's training ground. He has been strengthening you, preparing you, shaping you into someone who does not break under pressure. Others may retreat when faced with opposition, but you do not. Where others see obstacles, you see challenges meant to be overcome. When fear tries to settle in, something within you rises instead. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in Him, and He helps me. This path is not easy. You have been misunderstood, criticized, and at times, even pushed aside because of the fire inside you. People may have called you too intense, too bold, too relentless. But what they fail to see is that your spirit was designed by God for something greater. You were not meant to be ordinary. You were meant to stand in the gap, to protect, to defend, to lead. And that kind of calling will always attract resistance. But do not let the opinions of others dim your light. Do not let their doubts make you question what God has placed within you. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Standing by your side is Archangel Uriel, the angel of divine wisdom and fire. He is the guardian of those who are called to battle, both physically and spiritually. His presence in your life is a sign that you are not fighting alone. When the enemy tries to bring discouragement, when you feel the weight of the battle pressing down, remember that divine protection surrounds you. You have been given authority, strength, and the power to overcome. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. But even warriors need rest. Even the strongest must learn when to step back, to recharge, to surrender the battle to God. Because of your nature, you may struggle with the need to always be in control, to fight every fight, to stand alone when things become difficult. But true strength is not found in isolation. It is found in wisdom, in knowing when to press forward and when to let God fight on your behalf. Even David, a man after God's own heart, knew that victory did not come by his hand alone, but by God's power. The battle is not yours, but God's. Your mission is clear. You were created to rise, to lead, to be a warrior for truth and righteousness. But you must also learn to trust. Trust that God's timing is perfect. Trust that you do not have to carry every burden on your own. Trust that your strength does not come from yourself, but from the one who called you. The world needs your fire, your passion, your unshakable resolve. But most of all, it needs your faith. Stand firm. Do not be afraid of the challenges ahead. You were born for this. You were created for victory. May, the guardian of hope. There is something unshakable about those born in May. In a world where uncertainty casts long shadows, you carry within you a light that refuses to be extinguished. No matter how dark the night, no matter how heavy the burden, your spirit has been designed to hold on to hope. This is not just optimism or wishful thinking. This is faith in its purest form. You were born to remind others that God's promises never fail, that even in the storm, His plan is still unfolding. Your presence alone shifts the atmosphere. People are drawn to you, seeking comfort, guidance, and reassurance when their own faith wavers. They may not always say it, but they feel it. The strength in your voice, the certainty in your steps, the way you carry an unspoken confidence that things will work out. This is because God has placed within you the heart of a restorer, a spirit that lifts others up even when they feel lost. You may not always realize it, but your words, your actions, your very presence are often the reason someone else finds the courage to keep going. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. But carrying hope is not always easy. You have likely faced seasons where your own faith was tested, where the very hope you offer to others was hard to hold on to for yourself. There have been moments when you poured into others, only to feel empty in return. When you lifted those around you, only to wonder who would do the same for you. God sees this. He knows the weight of your heart, the quiet prayers you have whispered in exhaustion, and He wants you to know. He has never forgotten you. Your ability to encourage others is a gift, but it does not mean you must carry everything alone. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Watching over you is Archangel Jophiel, the angel of wisdom and divine beauty. His presence in your life is a reminder that even in the moments when you feel unseen, God is working through you. You were not placed here to simply exist. You were placed here to bring light into places where others have given up. Your ability to see the good in people, to find a way forward even when the road is unclear, is not by accident. It is part of the mission you were given long before you took your first breath. When doubt tries to creep in, when you wonder if what you do truly matters, remember this: God is using you in ways you cannot yet see. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. But even the brightest lights need time to recharge. Because of your nature, you may struggle to step back, to rest, to allow yourself the same grace you so freely give to others. But hope does not come from running yourself empty. It comes from staying connected to the source. Even Jesus withdrew to pray, to be renewed in the presence of His Father. You must do the same. There is no shame in needing rest, in refilling your spirit, in stepping back to allow God to pour into you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Your mission is clear. Keep hope alive, even when the world tells you otherwise. Stand firm in your faith, even when circumstances seem uncertain. Be the voice that reminds others that God's timing is perfect, that His promises are never delayed, that His love is greater than any fear. And most of all, do not forget, your own soul deserves the same hope that you so readily give to others. You were not just called to inspire others. You were called to walk in the same peace, the same assurance, the same unwavering trust that you offer so freely. Stand tall. Keep believing. You were born for this. June, the seeker of truth. There is a hunger in those born in June, a deep yearning that refuses to be silenced. While others may accept what they are told without question, your soul demands more. You were not designed to live in the shallows. You were created to seek, to explore, to uncover the mysteries of God's wisdom. This is not just curiosity. It is a divine calling. You were born with a mind that thirsts for understanding, a heart that longs for deeper meaning, a spirit that refuses to settle for anything less than truth. Your journey has never been about blind belief. You do not accept things at face value. You search for what lies beneath. While some may see questioning as doubt, God sees it as pursuit. He placed within you the desire to seek because He has hidden treasures for you to find. You were created to uncover what others overlook, to challenge what is false, to bring clarity where there is confusion. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Your mind is sharp, your thoughts deep, your intuition strong. When something does not align with God's truth, you sense it. This is why you are often drawn to Scripture, to theology, to understanding the mysteries of God's Word. It is not enough for you to be told what to believe. You must discover it for yourself. But this calling is not without its struggles. Because you seek truth in a world filled with deception, there will be moments of frustration, times when you feel misunderstood. Not everyone is ready for the knowledge you uncover. Some prefer comfort over clarity, tradition over transformation. You may have found yourself in situations where your desire for truth has made others uncomfortable, where your questions were met with resistance rather than answers. But do not let this discourage you. Even Jesus, the very embodiment of truth, was rejected by those who refused to see. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. You are not alone in this journey. Walking beside you is Archangel Raziel, the keeper of divine secrets, the guardian of those who seek wisdom beyond the surface. His presence in your life is a reminder that God does not withhold truth from those who sincerely seek it. Every revelation, every insight, every moment of clarity you receive is part of His plan for you. Your voice is needed. Your wisdom is valuable. Your ability to discern truth is a gift, not a burden. And while some may resist what you share, there will always be those whose lives are changed because you dared to speak. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But even seekers must learn to trust. Because of your need for understanding, you may struggle with surrendering to what is unknown. You want to see the whole picture, to understand every step before taking the next. But faith does not work that way. God calls you to trust Him, even when the answers do not come immediately. There will be times when you must walk forward without fully understanding the path. And in those moments, remember, God is not withholding clarity to confuse you. He is waiting for you to lean on Him, to trust that His wisdom is greater than anything your mind can comprehend. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Your mission is clear. Seek truth, but do so with grace. Pursue wisdom, but do not let it become pride. Share knowledge, but do not force it upon those who are not ready to receive it. God has given you a voice, and He will place you where it can make an impact. Some will question, some will resist, but there will always be those who find light through you. Do not be discouraged. Keep searching. Keep believing. You were created for this. July, the protector of hearts. There is a rare and powerful love within those born in July. You do not love lightly, nor do you form shallow connections. When you care deeply. When you give without hesitation. This is not by accident. God placed within you a heart designed to protect, to nurture, to shield others from harm. You are not just compassionate. You are a guardian of those you love. Your presence in someone's life is more than just companionship. It is a covering, a place of safety, a refuge in times of storm. But this kind of love comes at a cost. Because you feel so deeply, you also hurt deeply. When someone you love is in pain, it is as if you carry their suffering within yourself. When others are broken, you instinctively try to piece them back together, even when it drains you. Your heart is not just a vessel for your own emotions. It is a sanctuary for those who need comfort. You sense what others do not say, you recognize the burdens they try to hide, and without a second thought, you take on the role of protector. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. But even protectors need protection. You have likely experienced times when your love was taken for granted, when your kindness was met with indifference, when you poured yourself into others only to feel empty in return. This is the struggle of those who love deeply. They often give more than they receive. You may have felt weary at times, wondering why God gave you such a tender heart in a world that can be so harsh. But He wants you to know, this heart of yours is not a mistake. It is one of the greatest gifts He has given you. The enemy may try to convince you that your compassion is a weakness, but God says otherwise. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Standing beside you is Archangel Chamuel, the angel of love and protection. His presence in your life is a reminder that while you were created to shield others, you are not meant to carry every burden alone. He watches over those whose hearts are filled with divine love, reminding them that their strength comes not from themselves, but from God. You are not called to save everyone. That is God's job. You are simply called to reflect His love. The Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Because of your nature, you may struggle with letting go. You hold on longer than you should. You fight for relationships that have already run their course. You give chance after chance to those who have hurt you. But love does not mean sacrificing yourself. Love does not mean staying in places that drain you, or holding on to people who do not value you. Even Jesus, who embodied perfect love, knew when to step away, when to rest, when to place everything in His Father's hands. You must learn to do the same. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Your mission is clear. Love deeply, but wisely. Protect others, but do not neglect yourself. Offer kindness freely, but do not allow it to be taken for granted. You were created to be a light in the lives of others, but even light must be fueled. Do not be afraid to step back when you need to. Do not be afraid to let go when God asks you to. Your heart is a gift. Cherish it, guard it, and most of all, never forget that God sees every act of love you give, even when others do not. Keep loving. Keep protecting. Keep shining. You were born for this. August, the Lightbearer. There is a presence in those born in August that cannot be ignored. You do not simply exist in the background. You step forward, radiating confidence, purpose, and strength. There is something about you that naturally draws people in, something that makes others take notice. This is not by accident. God has placed within you a spirit of boldness, a calling to lead, to inspire, and to bring His light into places where darkness lingers. You were not made to be hidden. You were created to shine. But carrying light is not just about visibility. It is about responsibility. People look to you for guidance, for wisdom, for strength in times of uncertainty. Whether you realize it or not, your actions, your words, your very presence influence those around you. This is why God calls you to walk in humility, to use your strength not for self-gain, but for His glory. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Your confidence is not a mistake. It is a tool. Your ability to lead is not a coincidence. It is an assignment. But how you use it will determine whether your light brings hope or casts shadows. The path of a light-bearer is not without trials. Because you are a leader by nature, you may often feel the weight of high expectations. Others see your strength, but they do not always see the moments of doubt. the times when you feel the pressure of always being the one people turn to. There have been moments when you wondered, who is there for me when I need guidance? Leadership can be lonely, but God wants you to know, you are never truly alone. He walks beside you, strengthening you when the burden feels too heavy. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Watching over you is Archangel Metatron, the angel of divine purpose. His presence in your life is a reminder that your influence is meant for something greater than personal success. God has given you the ability to lead, not for your own glory, but to uplift others, to defend the weak, to be a voice for truth. You are called to build, to create, to set an example that leads others closer to God. And though the weight of this responsibility may feel overwhelming at times, know that you were chosen for this. To whom much is given, much will be required. But even those called to shine must guard their hearts. Because of your bold nature, you may struggle with pride, impatience, or the feeling that you must always be in control. There will be times when things do not go as planned, when doors close, when people do not follow the vision you have set. In these moments, God is teaching you surrender. He is reminding you that your light comes not from yourself, but from Him. It is not your own strength that sustains you. It is His. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Your mission is clear. Lead boldly, but with humility. Influence others, but for the right reasons. Let your light shine, not for your own recognition, but so that others may see God through you. The world needs your fire, your passion, your ability to inspire. But most of all, it needs your faith. Do not let fear or doubt cause you to dim your light. Step forward with confidence, knowing that the one who called you will equip you. This is your time. Rise, shine, fulfill the purpose that was placed in you from the very beginning. September, the Wisdom Keeper. There is a depth in those born in September that sets them apart. While others may rush through life without reflection, you pause, observe, and seek to understand. Your mind is sharp, your thoughts profound, and your spirit holds an ancient kind of wisdom. This is not by accident. God has gifted you with insight that reaches beyond the surface, a rare ability to see what others overlook. You were not created to simply accept the world as it is. You were made to seek truth, to uncover hidden knowledge, to guide others toward clarity and understanding. From a young age, you may have felt different, as if you were always searching for something deeper. You are not satisfied with shallow answers or half-truths. When others move on, you remain, digging further, looking beyond the obvious. This is because your soul was designed for wisdom. God placed within you the ability to discern, to recognize patterns, to connect what others fail to see. This is why people seek your advice, why they trust your judgment, why they sense that you understand things in a way they cannot. The one who gets wisdom loves life. The one who cherishes understanding will soon prosper. But carrying wisdom is not without its challenges. Because you see things so clearly, you may often feel frustrated when others do not. You may struggle with patience, with watching people make choices you know will lead to pain, with speaking truth that is ignored. There may have been times when your warnings were dismissed, when you felt unheard, when you wondered if your voice even mattered. But God wants you to know. It does. Even when it seems like no one is listening, your words plant seeds. Even when your wisdom is rejected, it does not go unnoticed. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. Walking beside you is Archangel Tzadkiel, the angel of wisdom and divine understanding. His presence in your life is a reminder that true knowledge is not about knowing everything. It is about seeking God's guidance in all things. Your wisdom is not meant for personal gain, but to help others grow, to bring clarity where there is confusion, to shine a light in places of doubt. You were created to teach, to mentor, to share the understanding God has given you. But even wisdom must be tempered with grace. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. Because of your deep thinking, you may also struggle with overanalyzing, with carrying the weight of too many thoughts, with feeling overwhelmed by everything you see and know. There will be moments when you must remind yourself that not everything needs to be understood immediately, that some answers come in time, that some mysteries belong only to God. Faith is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting the one who does. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Your mission is clear. Seek wisdom, but do not let it make you hard. Share knowledge, but do so with love. Guide others, but do not force them to see what they are not yet ready to understand. God has given you a mind that can unlock doors, but He has also given you a heart that must remain soft. Be patient with those who do not yet see. Be kind in how you teach. Your wisdom is a gift, but it is most powerful when used with compassion. Keep learning. Keep searching. Keep guiding. You were born for this. October, the guardian of justice. There is a fire in those born in October, but it is not the fire of destruction. It is the fire of righteousness, of fairness, of balance in a world that often leans toward chaos. You were not placed here to look away when things are unjust. You were created to stand firm, to seek truth, and to restore order where there is confusion. God has placed within you a deep sense of right and wrong, a heart that craves fairness, a mind that seeks clarity. You are not just someone who desires peace. You are someone who fights for it. From an early age, you may have noticed how deeply injustice stirs something inside you. Whether it is in personal relationships, in the world around you, or within your own spirit, you cannot simply accept what is wrong without seeking to make it right. You have the ability to see both sides, to weigh choices carefully, to bring people together when they are divided. But your peace is not one of passivity. It is a righteous peace, one that demands truth, one that holds people accountable. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. This calling is not always easy. There will be moments when standing for what is right means standing alone. Times when speaking truth will cost you relationships, when pursuing justice will bring opposition. You may have already faced situations where your desire for fairness was misunderstood, where others accused you of being too serious, too demanding, too unwilling to compromise. But God wants you to know, your heart for justice is not a flaw. It is a gift. In a world that often prefers silence, He has called you to be a voice. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Walking beside you is Archangel Rigel, the angel of justice and divine harmony. His presence in your life is a reminder that true justice is not about punishment. It is about restoration. You are not called to simply point out what is wrong, but to help bring things back into alignment with God's truth. Your ability to see both perspectives is a gift, but you must use it wisely. There will be times when you must speak, but also times when you must listen. The Lord loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of His unfailing love. Because of your passion for balance, you may struggle with feeling caught in the middle. There will be moments when you are torn between wanting to keep the peace and knowing you must take a stand. But remember, peace at the cost of truth is not real peace. God has called you to be a bridge, but not a doormat. There will be moments when you must choose righteousness over comfort, when you must risk conflict to uphold what is right. In those moments, do not be afraid. God stands with you. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Your mission is clear. Seek justice, but do so with wisdom. Stand for truth, but do so with grace. Bring peace, but never at the cost of righteousness. The world needs your strength, your clarity, your ability to bring balance where there is disorder. But most of all, it needs your faith. When others are unsure, be the one who stands firm. When the world wavers, be the one who reminds them that God's truth does not change. You were not just born to see what is right. You were born to act upon it. Walk boldly. Speak truth. You were created for this. November, the keeper of mysteries. There is something profound about those born in November. While others are content with what is seen, you are drawn to what is hidden. Your soul is wired to search beyond the surface, to uncover truths that others ignore, to seek meaning in what appears to be mystery. This is not by accident. God has placed within you a spirit of discernment, an ability to see what is unseen, to understand what is unspoken, to perceive what others overlook. You were not born to accept simple answers. You were created to explore the depths of God's wisdom. Your journey has never been one of blind faith. You do not simply follow. You question, you analyze, you seek to understand. While some may see this as doubt, God sees it as pursuit. He has given you a mind that does not settle for surface-level truths, a heart that senses when something is not right, a spirit that refuses to be deceived. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings to search it out. This is why you often find yourself drawn to spiritual mysteries, to deep theological questions, to unraveling things that do not make sense to others. You were created to dig deeper, to uncover what has been hidden, to bring clarity where there is confusion. But this calling is not without its challenges. Because you see and feel things so deeply, you may often struggle with isolation. There have been moments when you sensed something before it happened, when you knew the truth before others were willing to accept it. You may have felt misunderstood, as though your insights set you apart rather than bringing you closer to others. But do not mistake solitude for abandonment. The ability to perceive beyond the natural world is a gift, but it can feel like a burden if not surrendered to God. He did not give you discernment to carry alone. He gave it to you so you could walk in greater faith. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever. Standing beside you is Archangel Jeremiel, the angel of divine vision and understanding. His presence in your life is a reminder that revelation is not given for the sake of knowledge alone. It is given to bring others closer to God. You were not meant to keep your wisdom to yourself. The insights, the visions, the moments of deep understanding you experience are not just for you. They are meant to guide others, to help them see what they could not see before. You have been given a powerful gift, but with it comes great responsibility. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Because of your depth, you may sometimes struggle with carrying the weight of what you know. The more you understand, the more you may feel the burden of truth. There will be moments when you wish you could unsee, moments when knowing feels harder than not knowing. But remember, God did not give you this insight to overwhelm you. He gave it to strengthen you. There is a reason He trusts you with deeper understanding, a reason He reveals things to you before He does to others. But you must also remember that not everyone is ready for the truth when you are. Some things must be spoken immediately, but others must be kept in prayer until the right time. Even Jesus, though He held all wisdom, did not reveal everything at once. He spoke in parables, revealing truth only to those who were ready to receive it. No one lights a lamp and hides it in a jar or puts it under a bed. Instead, they put it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light. Your mission is clear. Seek wisdom, but do not let it make you weary. Pursue understanding, but do not let it isolate you. Share truth, but do so with discernment. You were created to walk in revelation, to guide others toward greater faith, to bring clarity where there is confusion. The mysteries you seek are not meant to remain mysteries forever. God reveals them to those who are willing to listen. Keep searching, keep trusting, keep walking in the knowledge that you were born for this. December, the bringer of light. There is something radiant about those born in December. You carry within you a warmth that brightens even the coldest of places, a presence that brings comfort, joy, and reassurance to those around you. This is not by accident. God has placed within you a spirit of celebration, of generosity, of unwavering faith. You were born to shine, to uplift, to remind the world that even in its darkest moments, God's light never fades. Your heart is wired for encouragement. You see the good in others even when they cannot see it in themselves. You remind people of their worth, of God's promises, of the beauty that still exists in the world. Whether through your words, your actions, or simply the way you carry yourself, you inspire those around you. You may not always realize it, but your presence alone shifts the atmosphere, replacing doubt with faith, sorrow with hope, and fear with peace. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. But carrying light is not always easy. There have been moments when you felt drained, times when you gave so much of yourself that you had little left to hold on to. You may have experienced seasons where your generosity was taken for granted, where your kindness was met with indifference, where your willingness to uplift others left you feeling unnoticed and unappreciated. God sees this. He knows how much you pour out, how deeply you care, how often you put others before yourself. But He wants you to remember, you are not just here to give light to others. You are also meant to receive it. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Watching over you is Archangel Gabriel, the messenger of divine truth and good news. His presence in your life is a reminder that your words have power, your faith has influence, and your joy has the ability to transform lives. You were created to speak life, to remind people of God's love, to be a reflection of the hope that never dies. Even when the world feels heavy, even when circumstances seem uncertain, your spirit remains anchored in something greater. You were not made to be overcome by darkness. You were made to stand against it. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. But even those who bring light must learn to protect their own. Because of your generous heart, you may struggle with setting boundaries, with knowing when to step back, with allowing yourself to be filled before you continue pouring into others. But God does not call you to exhaust yourself. He calls you to be renewed in His presence. Even Jesus, who gave endlessly, withdrew to be alone with His Father, to be replenished before continuing His mission. You must do the same. There is no weakness in needing rest, no failure in recognizing when you must be still. Your light is strongest when it comes from a place of divine renewal. Be still and know that I am God. Your mission is clear. Be the light, but do not let it burn out. Give joy, but do not forget to receive it. Share hope, but do not carry every burden on your own. The world needs what you bring, your encouragement, your unwavering faith, your ability to remind others of God's goodness. But most of all, it needs you whole, restored, and walking in the fullness of the calling God has placed on your life. Keep shining. Keep believing. Keep being the light you were created to be. You were born for this. Chosen one, now that you know the truth, the question remains, will you step into your divine calling? Your birth was not an accident. God placed you here with a purpose, uniquely designed for you alone. Every gift, every struggle, every moment has been preparing you for what comes next. But knowing is not enough. Many are called, but few truly answer. The world will try to distract you, fear will try to hold you back, but God has already gone before you. Your path has been prepared, your mission has been written, and heaven is waiting for you to rise. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is your moment. Do not shrink back. Do not hesitate. Your birth month was a sign. You were placed here for a reason. Now, take the first step. Trust God. Walk in faith. The time is now. Chosen one, this is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of your journey. You have been reminded of who you are, of the divine purpose woven into your very existence. The path ahead will not always be easy, but you were not created for an ordinary life. You were born to shine, to lead, to uplift, to restore, to stand firm in faith. God does not make mistakes. Every season of your life, every challenge, every victory has been shaping you for this moment. You are stepping into something greater. Do not let doubt or fear hold you back. The one who called you will guide you. The one who created you will strengthen you. For the Lord will be your light and your salvation. Whom shall you fear? Your time is now. Walk boldly. Trust fully. Live the life God has designed for you.